guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today we thought we would do something a little different and rank our favorite holiday movies, especially during the season. It's the Christmas time, and top 5 it.
Yeah, there are so many good holiday films. We figured we want to talk about some of our favorite movies. We would love for you to talk about what your favorite holiday movies are. I feel like there's some good ones coming out every year, so we just want to share our personal top 5s. So starting off with my number 5, it is Klaus, that just came out last year on Netflix. I actually didn't watch the movie when it came out last year. I knew it was really good. I got a screener for it. I just didn't get time to getting around to it. And I was like, oh, it's an animated Christmas movie. Like, I feel like we get so many a year. But we finally got around to watching it about a month ago, and it blew me away. The messages are phenomenal. The art style is fantastic. And just the overall story is so refreshing yet familiar, having like an origin story of Santa, but have it feel very real and and they were able to craft such a well-built world around this character and everything going on in the film.
It almost made my top 5. I really enjoyed that movie. I don't know why we waited so long to watch it, but it was really good. But my number 5 is The Grinch, the original animated film. It's just a classic. Anytime you think of the song that comes on the radio, "You're a Me One, Mr. Grinch," this is the messaging about love and Christmas time and the things that you don't really need. You just need everybody around you.
It really does have some of the ultimate Christmas messages and what the season, is about. It's about family and just love and having, just a good time in general. And the gifts are kind of just, something else on top of that. And also, I feel like they've tried to replicate it with varying success. I mean, I do enjoy Jim Carrey's Grinch. I don't think it's as good as the original. The new animated feature, I mean, it looks better, but you still have just that core great message. And that's one of the reasons why I think it stands the test of time. So my number 4 is A Year Without a Santa Claus. It is my personal favorite of that stop animation style, that kind of claymation look of those films. And I love that movie. I love the music in the movie. I think Heat Miser and Snow Miser steal the show for me. I love the idea of them trying to, we live in the South, so you got snow in Southtown. You got that working out. I think just a lot of it's just so cute and interesting and original. Like, we're not just playing off of a classic story of like Rudolph or like Santa or something. It's just its own original little thing, and it's my favorite personally of that series of films.
I just want to go ba-dum-bum-bum. So my number 4 is Santa Claus with Tim Allen. I grew up watching this movie a lot when I was younger, and I love the idea of Santa and the North Pole and how expansive of a universe it was. Like, you really got to look into like how they're creating the toys and everything. And just this whole story about this father trying to win back his son, and he's learning, about the goodness of Christmas and the holiday spirit. I really love that movie.
It is very of its time, too. So it's like a nostalgia time capsule. When you watch that film, you feel like you're thrown back to your childhood.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of movies that do that. And I think it does it really well. And Tim Allen's really good in it. What do you think about Tim Allen or whatever?
No,
he's really good as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that, the movies do get progressively worse as they keep going.
They do. I'm talking about the
the first one is great.
Yeah.
So my number 3 is It's a Wonderful Life. I adore this movie. I think it encapsulates Christmas for me. I watched it every year, I think my entire life, on Christmas Day with my dad. I think it is the penultimate Christmas movie. I think it's something that has the best messaging you can have. It really puts things in perspective during the holiday season, because the holiday season can be rough for a lot of people. And this movie does show kind of rising above that. And it's a classic tale that just consistently stays true and rings true. And I just think everyone should just enjoy this movie. It's something that I think will be in, holiday films for the rest of all time. It's by far the oldest film on my list. And I just love it. I can't talk about how great that movie is.
I have not seen this film, but we are going to watch it Christmas Eve this year.
Yeah,
so
I bought it on Blu-ray just so she could watch it. Because I was like, I don't own this movie. I watch it every year on TV. I watch it with my dad on VHS. And I was like, I need to own my own copy of it so I can introduce Noelle to it.
Yeah, so maybe on, next year's list or something. So my number 3 is Home Alone 1 and 2. I mean, they're practically the same movie.
Home Alone 1 is better, though.
It is better, but I still like the whole Christmas in New York type thing.
Yeah.
And also, like, every kid, I guess, I even wanted to be like, when I was younger, I would be like, I don't need my parents.
Yeah.
And have, like, the whole house to yourself. I really like the comedic roles going on in the movie. I actually was laughing. Like, I just watched 1 and 2 recently, and there were some funny moments in it.
Macaulay Culkin is really good in those movies, especially for being such a young actor.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see why he, like, blew up on the scene just from these films, because they're really good. And they, like I said, a lot of these movies are older films that just stand the test of time. You can watch Home Alone every year, and every year you're going to enjoy it. And I think a lot of it is from like Macaulay Culkin's charisma and just the goofy slapstick, almost Three Stooges comedy. So I mean, it has a blend of a lot of things.
And
then
Catherine O'Hara is the mother.
Yeah.
The famous line, Kevin, and she faints.
Yeah.
I also just always wanted to live in that house. Like that house.
That's a nice house.
The wreaths and the lights and everything. It has a lot of nostalgia feel to me because I watched it when I was younger.
So my number 2 film is Elf. I think that Will Ferrell is amazing in this movie. You could not have cast anybody else in this role and had it work out so perfectly. We actually just watched the documentary that's on Netflix, the holiday movies that made us, and that gave me even more of an appreciation of that film.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't know the backstory behind it and, like, how he really came about creating this film. I didn't even know that Jon Favreau directed the movie. I'm going to be honest with you. This was way before I started reviewing movies or really diving into what goes into them, and I made me appreciate the movie that much more. It's so funny. It has such amazing messaging in it. I think that Zooey Deschanel and Will Ferrell are fantastic in it. It's just a fun Christmas movie that hits on modern levels. I feel like a lot of these movies, they're movies from the 80s, the 90s, or older. This is one of the newer ones that's a live-action comedy that I think works perfectly.
So my number 2 is Christmas Vacation. This was really hard because it could have been my number 1. There's another movie that beats it. But I love Christmas Vacation just on the fact it literally brings in like the whole holiday feel. Like your family's coming together.
Yeah.
You're rushing around trying to get presents. The Christmas, decorations are up and everything. And I actually think I like Christmas Vacation better than the first Vacation movie.
Yeah, I do as well.
Even though they're very neck and neck to me.
And speaking of Christmas Vacation, that is my personal number 1. I love it because it reminds me so much of my family. Like we just watched it. My dad was recently down here. We watched it together because it is a movie that, I grew up watching it with him, and we were like the Griswolds. Like I always loved the vacation movies. He reminded me of my dad and just how crazy Christmas can be when you're trying to get your family together. You always have that cousin Eddie in your family.
Yeah.
You always have the crazy grandparents, everything that, you think of as Christmas that isn't like the fun, happy stuff of Christmas. It's the hard, goofy things that happen, and being able to have it all come full circle at the end. I just love it. I love the messagings in all these movies. That's one of the things about Christmas films that I really enjoy is that they always have a heartwarming message, even if they do have, some dark moments, some of the difficult things that happen at Christmas time with family. It always ends up with a nice little perfect bow at the end, and this movie is a definite example of that.
So my number 1 is Love Actually. I love this movie, even though it's in the title of the film. I just think the messaging, love is actually all around us, and everything about it is just perfect. I love all the different storylines that are going on, even though some of them may like have some loose ends. But I actually think it's like one of the better films that had a bunch of actors come together and do it. And it's so good, from like the iconic Hugh Grant dance and just like Mr. Bean's like doing his packaging. It is everything to me. I love it. I love the early 2000s music in it. It's so good in my opinion.
I have a soft spot for that movie as well. And honestly, it's one of those movies that either you really like it or you really don't like it. I feel like you have to be born and like be around at a very specific time in your life to enjoy that film. Because if you're a little older, I don't think it's going to hit as well. And if you're young, I feel like you'll just be like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
Because it's in a very specific time frame of what it's encapsulating. And having, like Noelle said, like a really phenomenal cast. Like if you really break down Alan Rickman, you have so many good actors in this movie and so many different storylines. It could have very easily been a mess. And I think it worked out well. I know they tried to replicate it with future films that kind of deal with other holidays. But this is the only one, in my opinion, that's really good. And it just has, like I said, great messaging and great stories. And you get all the different types of people and what they're dealing with during the holidays. And I don't know, it's just like a really good movie. I don't think it gets enough credit. I think people think it's a little cheesy.
It is, but I feel like everybody needs that little cheese in their Christmas film.
Yeah, and that's the greatest thing about Christmas movies, because like I would love to hear everybody else's top 5, because I feel like everyone's can be wildly different.
Yeah.
You can have people that, kind of stick by the book like the classic films. And I'm sure there's some other people that love Christmas movies that people think are horrible. Like I personally have a affinity for like Deck the Halls, and people hate that movie. There's there's so many that I really enjoy, like Christmas with the Cranks. There's so many on that list that could make it, but it's just so hard because they're all like, they all have a similar theme most of the time, family and coming together and a lot of comedy and things like that. But these are like my personal 5 that elevate above that for me personally because of mostly nostalgia. Let's be
myself
honest.
As well. Yeah. So this sums up our top 5 Christmas movies. Let us know in the comments down below what your top 5 are. We would love to hear them.
Yeah.
How, they rank. And we always appreciate your love and support. Remember to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
And also, I want to know if you think that Die Hard or Iron Man 3 are Christmas movies. I think we've accepted at this point that Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not on board, but I've accepted it for everyone that enjoys it. If you want something to be a Christmas movie, it's a Christmas movie. But I'm specifically interested in Iron Man 3 because we had a long debate with someone about whether Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie. I want to get your opinion in the comments.
It was great.
All right. So again, thanks for watching. See you guys.
Bye.